Again, with our mass notification system, which is relatively new, we implemented that last spring. This would be used only in the event of major emergencies. If we have a building evacuation, we will use the mass notification system with the exception of a fire. Obviously, the fire alarm, that's a good enough signal to get out. We won't also send text messages saying you need to pay attention to the fire alarm. We will be using the mass notification system for college closings, in particular in the winter weather situations. So for this year, with the mass notification system and the phone tree, I will apologize in advance. You may get a phone call twice at 5 in the morning, but twice is better than none, right? Thank you. Excellent. So we will be using the mass notification system for that purpose. The benefit, though, of course, to the mass notification system for winter weather closings is that also communicates to students, which we didn't have before with the phone trees. So this is another way to get the message out to our students. We will be using the mass notification system for tornado warnings, again, primarily to help get that word out to students who may be en route to campus. If there's a tornado warning and you're on campus, you'll hear that through the PA system, but obviously our students wouldn't hear that if they're on their way to campus, so this hopefully is a way to get that message out to them as well. And we'll be using the mass notification system in the event of other significant campus crises. We can't possibly predict all of what might happen, but for example, if there were an incident of violence on campus, we would likely use the mass notification system. The point here is that if you get a message from MCC Campus Alert, it is a significant emergency and you need to pay attention. Okay, this will not be used very often. We have planned to do a test once a semester, college-wide, for all students and all employees, simply to make sure that the system is working and to get a sense of how long it takes for that message to get sent out. Other than that, if you get a message from the mass notification system, it is important to pay attention to that message. Another key point is that the mass notification system will always be used in conjunction with other communication tools. Because we know the mass notification isn't immediate. It's fast, and we'll talk about that in a second, but it's not immediate. We'll be using this in combination with other tools. For example, in the event of the tornado warning, we'll use the PA system as well as the mass notification system. In the event of a winter weather closing, we'll use our website and emergency closing center in addition to the mass notification system. So we will always be using multiple methods to try to get the word out as efficiently as possible. We did conduct a test of our mass notification system on September 4th. How many of you got the message? Excellent. We'll be talking about some of the reasons why some of you may not have gotten the message in just a moment. On September 4th, we had over 2,500 students and employees registered in the system, which is fantastic. That's about 2,000 students or so, and the rest employees, so that's an excellent number. During that test, we had nearly 5,000 messages sent out within an hour. And I'll talk about why there are more messages than registrants in just a moment. The median delivery time for everyone in the system to receive at least one message was 10 minutes. Okay, so that was the median delivery time. Text messages and emails went out within 1 minute and were received, in most cases, in less than 1 minute. So text messages and emails by far are the most efficient method of communication from our mass notification system. Okay? It took approximately 19 minutes on average for phone calls to occur. So there's a pretty significant delay in terms of getting the word out via the telephone. That's not as crucial, obviously, for a snow closing. If you get the call at 5:22 as opposed to 5:03, that's okay. But in other emergencies, you can imagine it's much more important to get that word within a minute or two. So I'll talk in a moment about encouraging you, if possible, to enter a text message number to get these notifications as quickly as possible. We had 58% of everyone registered in the system confirm that they received the message. We had hundreds more receive a voicemail with the message. And I want to take a moment to clarify the ability to confirm receipt of the message from a voicemail. We had many, many employees who were so obedient, and they heard Walt's message, and he said, please listen for instructions on how to confirm receipt of this message. And if you received that on a voicemail, there is no way to confirm receipt of this message. Okay, so I heard, but some of us tried. I heard from a number of you that you tried. So you didn't do anything wrong. If you get a voicemail, there's no way to confirm. The only way you can confirm receipt of a message is if you are on a live phone call, you answered the call, or if you get a text message or an email, you can respond. Okay, so if you got a voicemail, you couldn't do anything about it. So we actually had 58%, of folks actually answer the phone live, respond to an email or text message, and the rest of you simply receive voicemails, and that's fine. This is a screenshot of the 3N site where you can enter your contact information. And I want to just talk about this in detail to help clarify some of the important pieces of information we'd like to ask you to update if possible. This is actually my contact information. You'll see that my number one priority to receive communications from 3N is what's called SMS text to cell. That's just a really technical term for a text message. Okay? What you can do in 3N is identify your communication priorities. Where do you want the mass notification system to try to reach you at first? And if you don't confirm receipt, where should it try to reach you at second and third and so on? Does that make sense? So the first priority for me is a text message. So if an emergency notification is sent out, 3N will first try to send me a text message at this number. If I confirm receipt of that text message, and I do that simply by replying, 3N then stops attempting to send me messages. It will stop at that point. If I don't respond to my text message, it goes on to my second communication priority, which is the mobile phone. So if I don't respond to that text message, this phone will then ring. If I answer this phone and confirm that I've received it, 3N will then stop trying to contact me. If I don't confirm receipt, it then moves on to my third priority, which is another phone number. If I don't answer this phone, it then goes on to number 4, which is an email. If I don't confirm that, it then moves on to number 5. And finally, it'll go on to my last choice, which is my business phone number. A couple of key points here. First of all, please do not set your business phone number, your MCC phone number, as one of your top contact methods. The reason for that, although it seems like it would be an efficient thing to do, the reason for that is we only have 20 or so phone circuits. So if we have hundreds of employees set that as their primary notification method, we will literally flood the phone circuits on campus, and then no one will be receiving phone calls. Okay, so we're asking you please not to set that as your primary contact. Also, I think part of the confusion with the test of the mass notification system was that many of you set your home phone number to be your primary contact, which would make sense in the event of snow day, for example. But if something were to happen while you're on campus and you need to get notification, it doesn't make sense to have your home phone be the primary contact. So what was happening is a lot of you were getting calls at home, and someone at home answered and confirmed receipt, and that stopped the cycle. And so you didn't get the message here. Okay, so for those of you who didn't get a message, that might be what happened. So what we're recommending is if you have a cell phone that receives text messages, we're recommending that you set that as your primary method of communication. The reason being that will get to your cell phone faster than any other method. And if it does happen to be a snow day and your text message doesn't wake you up, it will go on to number 2. It'll go on to your second communication method. Does that make sense?